All right. Hi, everyone, and welcome to our October Janis Black-Warner Speaker Series. My name is Elizabeth Stevens, and I'm NAMI Westside LA's Program Director. We would like to thank Janis Black-Warner for making this amazing monthly event possible. Thank you so much, Janis, for your commitment to NAMI Westside LA and to mental health advocacy. Appreciate you so much. We are honored to have Ana Vega join us this evening as our October speaker. Ana knows about family stress as her mom and sister both live with schizophrenia. She also has two stepmoms and developed bulimia and depression in her early 20s. Ana is a family parenting and co-parenting coach and consultant, and the former vice president of the NAMI chapter in San Fernando Valley. Ana's mission is simple: show families how to move from chaos to growth so life becomes easy, stress-free, and fun. Thank you so much for joining us this evening, and I'm going to go ahead and pass the mic over to you.
Thank you very much for having me. I'm so excited. Finally, we've been planning this for months. So I'm very excited and hope people enjoy it and we can have some fun also with some of the exercises I put together. And so I think what I will do is I will just share my screen because I prepared a PowerPoint presentation for us. It will be easier for me. And let me see, what is it? What is it? Okay, here it is. Yeah, and then I'm gonna, there you go. And then I'm going to change it to full screen. Let me see. View. There you go. Okay, can you see full screen now?
Yes, that looks great.
Perfect. So yeah, welcome to Mindful Families, Mindful Relationships, the method to get a peaceful home and elevate your whole life. This is a way to get use mindfulness, but not just we will learn how is different, just general mindfulness and like mindful parenting, mindful relationships, because with general mindfulness only involves you, but with mindful relationships or mindful families involves other people. And this way you can, improve your relationship with yourself, but also your relationship with your loved ones and connect even, on a deeper level. So let's see. Let's talk about stress. So stress, during the almost 500,000 years of the existence of our hunter-gatherer ancestors, parents had a lot of help. How much help? Well, an average of 15 people. Okay, we lived in tribes of around 150 people. So parents had 50 people helping them with the children. Try to imagine this for just 1 second, having 15 people around you to help you raise your kids. Can you imagine that? These groups went out foraging for food and brought it back to share, hunted together, and looked after one another's kids. So the stress level was much, much, much lower of parents or families in general, because there was this constant, support in interdependence, right? We don't have that nowadays. Parents raise their children by themselves, basically. So, okay, I believe this is the worst human relationship mistake, thinking that your stress and emotional state do not affect other people's behavior. Okay, all humans, including babies, are affected by other people's stress and any negative emotional state, even when people try to fake it. Isn't it amazing? How are they affected by these nonverbal cues? The emotional tone of your voice, your eye contact, your body language, and your physical touch. I like to call it secondhand stress. A friend calls you or drops by and complains about their work, and suddenly you're breathing faster and feeling a little on the edge. And then your stress, your secondhand stress, is transferred to a third person. It's like a chain. So this, see if you have stress in your home. So, maybe you are yelling or snapping 3 times per week because you repeat yourself 300 times, 200 times, and they still don't listen, right? Worried because they don't have many good friends, or they say they hate you, or that they want to run away. You walk on eggshells because when you get home, whoever is there, they could have a meltdown if you bought the wrong snack. Other family members come to you blaming each other, so you decide as a judge who is guilty and who is innocent. You don't have the energy to be present with them. Many times you fake it and feel guilty about it on top of it. If that's you, I'll bet you also are doing more of the following: threatening and using consequences like removing privileges or screen time, resenting one or more family members, so you are in the reacting mode, you overreact, normalizing you're giving your personal power away to others, feeling guilty for all the snapping or the criticism or the shaming, feeling guilty because sometimes you just want to quit, wondering why you or others can't get off your electronic devices, stop fighting, or stop lying. If that's you, I'll bet you've also have tried many things, maybe doing yoga or going to a spa. Why even mindful meditation is not enough? If you have tried any of these and you feel stuck, I know exactly what you're going through because I've been there too. I've been stuck too. So when we're stressed, we will stress behave. I don't like calling it misbehave. I call it stress behave. And then people close to us will stress behave too, because remember, stress is contagious. So most people will communicate the stress non-verbally. People don't come to you and say, I'm stressed out. They just communicate it like this: externalized behavior, defiance or aggression, meltdowns, difficulty falling asleep, impulsivity, irritability, screen addiction or lying, or internalized, which can be lack of motivation, anxiety and insecurity, loneliness, inability to focus, obsessive thoughts, perfectionism, that's a big one, and jealousy. So a little bit about me before we continue. So I was born in Spain, and I lived in sunny Southern California, like you guys. And I know about family stress. For the first 12 years of my life, I lived with a mom who had severe schizophrenia. Later, my sister was diagnosed with schizophrenia too. Then I had two different not so nice stepmoms. So how did I deal with all that chronic stress? With teen depression and an eating disorder. This led me to become a vice president in NAMI. I have facilitated support groups and taught family-to-family classes in English and Spanish, taught NAMI provider to mental health professionals, and educated officers of the Los Angeles Sheriff's Department in the Twin Towers jail in downtown, and high school students with the program Ending the Silence. I stumbled into coaching parents by accident in 2012. Before becoming a mom, I was an international journalist. My life looked perfect after becoming a mom, but it was not. I felt overwhelmed and guilty. This is when I became obsessed with parenting, reading every book on parenting, child psychology, and brain development that I could. And I became all my friends' parenting coach. But still, I was one of those parents that, despite of all that knowledge, would try to keep her cool without success. I could not keep my cool. Surprisingly, many, even with my many years of NAMI weren't helping. All my knowledge from NAMI wasn't helping, actually. There was a piece of the puzzle, just one piece of the puzzle that had been missing. Once I found it, things started changing in only 3 weeks. I founded Parents with Superpowers Academy, And over the years, other parents have learned this method in just a few weeks without reading a mountain of books or watching complicated YouTube videos. And also what I teach works in any relationship, spouses, siblings, coworkers. People tell me, my clients always say that, these tools that they learn, they use it everywhere, with the spouse, at work, with their other family members. And this is really quick, some of my qualifications. I have 2 master's degrees from the Université Catholique de Paris. Mindful parenting, which was designed for clinical settings in the Netherlands with 100% success. What I mean by clinical settings is for families where there is a mental health issue. Mindfulness-based stress reduction program by John Kabat-Zinn, the godfather of modern mindfulness. This program is used in hospitals all around the country. Harvard University's Resilient Leadership, Yale University's Parenting Center, European Leadership School, and then Loving Kindness Meditation Retreat and Forgiveness Meditation Retreat, which were amazing. We now live in a mindful relationships era. Many people are realizing this. We're going to look why. What mindfulness is not. Mindfulness is not relaxing, is not concentrating, is not doing breath work or saying a mantra. What mindfulness is this: remembering to observe how the mind's attention moves from one thing to another. Observing how the mind moves from a pleasant or an unpleasant sensation, a perception, a feeling, to an emotion like happiness, sadness, anger, fear, surprise, or disgust, to a thought, to a series of thoughts, a judgment, a memory, a prediction, etc. Is observing those movements, where it goes here, and it goes there, it goes here, it goes there. That's what mindfulness really is. So with mindfulness, you become a curious and kind observant, and very important is kind, because some people observe their mind and they become judgmental of their minds, and that's not how mindfulness works. You have to be kind and a kind observant. But because the mind avoids being in the present moment and prefers very much to be distracted mostly with the past or the future, the hardest part of mindfulness is to remember to observe how the mind's attention moves from one thing to another. The hardest part is to remember. So we're going to do a short exercise. We're going to see with beginner's eyes. So if you don't mind, put your hands in front of you. Okay. And just observe each little part of them. Notice the veins, the different colors, right? The different shades of colors. Like there's, darker, lighter, more rosy, or, more brownish, more bluish because of the veins. Maybe some parts are shinier and you see wrinkles. And then if you turn them around, maybe you see the nails. How, maybe there's some shininess in the nails. Also the different colors and textures. Some parts look softer, some parts look, rougher, and different colors too. You can even smell them if you want. Maybe you smell your hands. Okay. So what did you notice about your hands? Did you notice something about how they looked that you never noticed? Anybody want to share? Did you notice anything, like the colors maybe, that you never really paid attention to, or anything?
When you pointed out the veins, I started to notice that, and I don't think on a daily basis I do.
Okay. Anybody else?
Yeah, the same. I didn't realize how noticeable my veins are.
Anybody else? Did you didn't notice anything new? Do you look at your hands differently now? Maybe, huh? I do. Okay. People are a little shy tonight, huh? So, okay, now let's go back to. So now, let's think of the many ways in which we use our hands. I'm gonna give some examples, and you guys can share more. Okay, I wash my hair with my hands. I open every door with my hands. I open the doors in my house. I open the door in my car. I open the doors in the stores. I use my hands to make my to peel an orange, to peel a tangerine, to make food, to cut, food with a knife, to eat, you know. Can you guys share all the ways in which we use our hands?
Typing on the computer.
Painting,
Or, yeah, painting or typing on the computer.
typing, okay.
Gardening, working on your car,
Gardening, working on your car,
your
okay.
bicycle.
Riding a bicycle, yes.
That's what I do. Look.
Expressing love.
What am I?
Expressing love.
What's that,
Good.
Patricia?
Expressing love.
Expressing love, yeah, like
And
caressing, hugging.
yeah,
Yes, sir.
driving, combing my hair, painting.
In the chat, I see playing piano and guitar, cooking, massage, using hands when you talk, petting my dog.
Okay. Putting on makeup, covering myself with the covers at night when you go to bed.
Even dancing. I use my
Even
hands
dancing, yes.
dancing.
Yes, it's true. What else? Cuddling, laundry, organizing, house cleaning. Yes.
That's me.
Ukulele, yeah, ukulele, playing an instrument, yeah, like ukulele, guitar, petting a dog, I love that.
Driving.
Clapping,
Driving.
driving, yes.
And then
Turning
you
off
get
the,
spots.
what's that?
You get spots from the sun.
Yes. Like turning the lights on and off in the house, right? Using your phone to scroll, right? What else? There's so many more.
Your phone.
Yeah, yes, your phone. Mhm. Then when you're, like out there, skiing, using your hands for skiing, your paws, or like kayaking, using your hands, to kayak. Basketball, right? Use your hands to play basketball.
Sports, yeah.
Was that?
Sports, yeah.
Sports, yeah. Baseball,
Sign language. You talk with your hands.
sign language. Uh-huh. What else? Reading a book. What else?
Everything.
Everything. Infinite ways, right?
Yeah.
There's so many. We could be here all night. So,
Yeah.
do you what's going on? Why is it not? Oh, there you go. So, seeing things with beginner's eyes is seeing the extraordinary in the ordinary. So now that we've looked at our hands in a different way, have you changed how you appreciate your hands now? Has your perspective about them changed at all? Yes? No?
Yes, I appreciate them more. And I need more hand lotion.
Exactly.
You see them more, you see them like you have a more expanded perspective of your hands now, maybe? Okay, that's a way to be, practice mindfulness when you're seeing things that normally you don't see also, right? So what do you think this exercise was important in life?
to make you appreciate what you have, be more alert,
Aware.
mindful, aware.
Mm-hmm. How about people? Can you see people differently now if you use this exercise?
Mm.
Pay attention to them more, like,
Yeah.
Yeah, sometimes we we tend to take them for granted, as we take our hands for granted.
Mm-hmm. Yes, it's true. How about seeing, because we tend to, look into this, like see people in two dimensions. We see more dimensions of them. We forget about these other ways of the different parts of the personalities, right? Our personalities are so rich, Okay, so our view of our children, spouses, parents, and ourselves can become quite narrowed and biased. When we practice beginner's mind, we counteract this tunnel vision and open ourselves up to the whole universe of experience with everyone, including ourselves, even ourselves too. Even if someone has not been diagnosed with a disorder,
Mm,
we may sometimes find ourselves labeling them.
yes.
Have you noticed a tendency to label them the easy one, the difficult one, the smart one, the athletic one, and how easy it is to notice the things that fit that description and overlook the things that contradict it?
Yes.
Since every one of us is literally evolving constantly every day, these labels are not very reliable.
Mm,
We just don't know how we or other people will develop. This is, for example, a thing that I have in my son's room, in the door of his room, like all these different parts of his personality that I want to make sure that he knows that he's not just one thing, that he's all these good things, like, he's independent, he's a good dancer, he's, all these things, like we're not just one thing, we're many things, many, many things, right? We're so rich as people, we're so fascinating, all of us, and we forget about it. So personality is impermanent. That's actually, personality is impermanent. That's the title of one of Dr. Benjamin Hardy's books. Part of how our children or other family members learn about themselves is through how they see themselves reflected in our eyes. This is actually called the Pygmalion effect. So when we see them fully and openly with beginner's mind, they can also see themselves more fully. This is especially important to keep in mind when some family member has been diagnosed with a particular disorder. Sometimes a person can become identified with their disorder and begin to view themselves as the person with problems, or the person with this, or the person who was always doing that, or the person who is always, behaving this way. This is called actually the Galatea effect. You can see it here, like for example, the Galatea effect. I will do it because I know I can. And the Pygmalion effect is I will do it because my boss or my father or my mother or my spouse or my siblings think I can. We are so interconnected that way. Does it make sense? So I want to read you something by the Buddhist monk Thich Nhat Hanh related to the beginner's mind. He said, if while washing dishes, we think only of the cup of tea that awaits us on the table, thus hurrying to get the dishes out of the way as if they are a nuisance, then we are not washing the dishes to wash the dishes. What's more, we're not alive during the time we're washing the dishes. So there are two ways to wash the dishes. The first one is to wash the dishes to have clean dishes. And the second is to wash the dishes just to wash the dishes, just to enjoy, the bubbles, the water, the weight of the dish, to be completely alive when we're doing it and being, mindful of what's going on in front of us. But general mindfulness is not enough to change family dynamics, because general mindfulness does not cover learning about the other person's perspective. And that's how, can improve our relationships, understanding of the person's perspective, not only our perspective. So just quickly, fun facts that prove that mindful families work. Many studies have been done, that it decreases aggression and compliance and self-injury in children with autism. You can change your child's behavior, even with children with autism, for example. You can change behavior on children with ADHD. People, all of us, not just parents, we underestimate the influence we have on other people's behavior. We have huge, huge influence. And also mindful parenting and mindful families improves clinical symptoms in children with ADHD, but not only ADHD, but with depression, anxiety. We have so much influence. It's incredible. I'm going to show you this video about, let me see, it's not, there you go, about meditating.
There's no way a fidgety and skeptical news anchor would ever have started meditating were it not for the science. The science is really compelling. It shows that meditation can boost your immune system, lower your blood pressure, help you deal with problems ranging from irritable bowel syndrome to psoriasis. And the neuroscience is where it really gets sci-fi. There was a study out of Harvard that shows that short daily doses of meditation can literally grow the gray matter in key areas of your brain having to do with self-awareness and compassion, and shrink the gray matter in the area associated with stress. There was also a study out of Yale that looked at what's called the default mode network of the brain. It's a connected series of brain regions that are active during most of our waking hours when we're doing that thing that human beings do all the time, which is obsessing about ourselves, thinking about the past, thinking about the future, doing anything but being focused on what's happening right now. Meditators not only turn off the default mode network of their brain while they're meditating, but even when they're not meditating. In other words, meditators are setting a new default mode. And what's that default mode? They're focused on what's happening right now. In sports, this is called being in the zone. It's nothing mystical. It's not magical. You're not floating off into cosmic ooze. You are just being where you are. The cliche in self-help circles is being in the now. You can use that term if you want, but because it's accurate, it's slightly annoying, but it's accurate. It's more just being focused on what you're doing. And the benefits of that are enormous. And this is why you're seeing these unlikely meditators now, why you're seeing the U.S. Marines adopting it, the U.S. Army, corporate executives from the head of Ford to the founders of Twitter, athletes from Phil Jackson to many, many Olympians, scientists, doctors, lawyers, school children. There's this sort of elite subculture of high achievers who are adopting this because they know it can help you be more focused on what you're doing, and it can stop you from being yanked around by the voice in your head. My powers of prognostication are not great. I bought a lot of stock in the company that made Palm Pilot back in 2000. And that didn't go so well for me. But having said that, I'm going to make a prediction. I think we're looking at meditation as the next big public health revolution. In the 1940s, if you told people that you went running, they would say, who's chasing you? Right now, if you tell people you meditate, and I have a lot of experience with telling people this, they're going to look at you like you're a little weird most of the time. That's going to change. Meditation is going to join the pantheon of no-brainers like exercise, brushing your teeth, and taking the meds that your doctor prescribes to you. These are all things that if you don't do, you feel guilty about. And that is where I think we're heading with meditation, because the science is so strongly suggestive that meditation can do really, really great things for your brain and for your body. The common assumption that we have, and it may be subconscious, is that our happiness really depends on external factors. How was our childhood? Have we won the lottery recently? Did we marry well? Did we marry at all? But in fact, meditation suggests that happiness is actually a skill, something you can train just the way you can train your body in the gym. It's a self-generated thing. And that's a really radical notion. It doesn't mean that external circumstances aren't going to impact your happiness. It doesn't mean you're not going to be subject to the vagaries of an impermanent entropic universe. It just means you are going to be able to navigate this with a little bit more ease.
Okay. Oop.
There's no way
Oops, sorry. I don't know why it's starting again.
a fidgety and skeptical news anchor.
Very good at.
Can I say something?
Or would ever have started
No. How do I get out of this one and go back to...
Stop sharing.
Maybe the
No,
arrow.
no, it's
key?
not that. I have to move to the next slide.
Perhaps the arrow key on your keyboard.
Like, oh, there you go. So, one example of how the new psychology is using mindfulness to treat depression, eating disorders, addictions, anxieties. Janina Fisher. Janina Fisher is trauma expert. And she used to be a professor of psychology in Harvard. This is one of her new books, Transforming the Living Legacy of Trauma, and it's all about mindfulness. They are now treating so many of these mental health issues with mindfulness. Instead of, she says, like, I'm an expert on trauma, but up until now, all we did is talk about, have, clients talk about what happened in the past. What happened in the past is not important what happened. It's how that affected us in the present. What's happening in the present? And the present is being mindful. And then how do you deal with that, anxiety or depressive thoughts, or the craving, of we have an addiction or eating disorder. How do you deal with that in the present? So it's the new way to treat so many things nowadays. So mindful families or mindful parenting is a revolutionary method. Why is it revolutionary? It's because it changes your identity and your child's identity, or if it's not your child, it's maybe your spouse or your sibling, or your own friend, could be even. So we're gonna do a morning stress exercise that's very interesting. I think you're gonna love it. Is this like a kind of like a, it's not a meditation, but we're gonna have to close our eyes and do a visualization exercise. So, okay, close your eyes, feel your feet on the ground, and feel your legs, feel the weight of your body on the chair, feel your shoulders. And now imagine it's the morning and you're going to catch a flight with someone, a person that causes you a lot of stress. It can be anybody. It can be a child, a sibling, a spouse, whoever. And you are running late. Actually, you lost a flight not too long ago already and lost all the money on that flight. And then they're getting ready in the room and they're not getting out. And you're already, you're going to be late already. And they're not leaving. And you keep on asking them, what's going on? Let's go. And they don't get out. And they say, well, leave me alone. I can't decide what to put in my suitcase. I'm stressed out. I said, well, just, you should have thought about it, like a whole argument, right? And then as the argument gets, bigger, out of control, maybe. And then they say, well, you know what? I'm not going. I'm not going. And you're like in shock. So now let me ask you, in that moment, when you're in shock, like you cannot believe it, and you're so like upset or angry or what is your body feeling? What do you feel the tension? Do you normally feel the tension when you're like that in your jaw or in your shoulders or your tummy or your fists or your face? Where do you normally feel that? Just think about it. You don't have to tell me. And then what is the emotion? Do you get angry or you get sad? Or you get, afraid? And then what do you tend to think in that kind of situation? What kind of thoughts do you tend to have? You start kind of, criticizing the person in your mind, telling them they're like always like this, it's so unfair, they don't care about me, whatever, something that's critical of the other person. Or do you start telling yourself from a place of like feeling like a victim. This always happens to me. I don't know why I put up with this. People take advantage of me. I know, whatever that normally comes up. And then what do you normally do? Do you start screaming at them, or do you just walk away? Do you start crying out of desperation? Do you shut down and just stay quiet and just freeze? Okay. So you can open your eyes now. And if you have a piece of paper, or maybe your phone if you want, or the computer, whichever you want, write, like 4 columns and write, or we don't have to write it now because maybe we're going to run out of time. You can write it later if you want to remember. But can you tell me, if you want, some of you, tell me what bodily sensations did you have? Do you feel tension anywhere in the body at all? When that kind of situation, you were visualizing the situation? Where do you feel the tension normally? Where does it happen? Yeah, Patricia?
And my neck and
Your
my
neck,
back and
your
in my
back?
stomach, they become
Stomach.
very tense.
Okay, good. Anybody else wants to share? Where?
My head.
Your
My
head, okay.
head.
Yeah,
And my shoulders, like.
your shoulders too.
Okay.
Okay. Who else? Come on. Elizabeth.
I'm seeing in the chat a lot of shoulders, neck,
Oh,
lower back. I feel it in my jaw. I tend to clench my teeth.
okay. Okay, thank you. Yeah, I'm out of the chat. Yeah, I was missing the chat. Thank you for that. Okay, so the emotions, what emotion do you tend to feel in that situation? Do you feel anger? Do you feel sadness? Do you feel disgust? Do you feel fear? What do you tend to feel?
Typically anxiety and
Okay, fear, anxiety. That's fine. Anybody?
Yeah, frustration,
And frustration, like anger?
anger.
Yeah, frustration, anger, and frustrated. Yeah. Fear, hopelessness. Yeah. Okay, these are normal. You're human, I guess. After all, we're all human. Okay, thank you. And then thought tendencies. You want to share what you tend to think? You don't have to share, but if you want to share, what do you tend to think? We all think, all kinds of things in those moments, right?
You blame yourself. Like, why did I?
Okay.
Because you weren't prepared, and next time, or last time you said I'm not going to do. It's like doing your taxes. You said next year I'm going to be prepare them earlier, and then you're late again, and same thing.
Okay. Thank you. Thank you. Okay, yeah, we can think different things. You can think, just maybe you can start with an angry thought, like, oh, I can't believe this is unfair. And then you can later transform into, oh, what does it happen to me? Like a victim kind of thoughts. Patricia?
Well, first, I think I would get angry or frustrated. And then when I notice that on myself, I'm talking about my experience. I would remove myself from the room and go to the bathroom, wash my face and think, and try to get grounded and think, what is the best solution to this?
Okay, so just your action tendency.
Once I calm down, I can activate the part of the brain that deals with working out a solution.
So that's your action tendency. You tend to walk away to calm down, to wash your face, and
yeah.
Yeah, regulate, self-regulate.
Yeah, to self-grounded.
Yeah, okay. Yeah, we all have these tendencies, and we don't choose them. When we're in this state of mind, these are automatic reactions. They happen before we think. Before we think, they just happen, and because their subconscious is like they have been programmed in us. It's like a programming. We don't choose them. That's why later, when you have said or done something that was mean or was not very smart, later you're like, oh my God, what did they just say? What did they just do? That wasn't me. And you feel embarrassed, you feel ashamed, or you feel guilty because that's not you. You will never choose that kind of reaction. You wouldn't choose these reactions. It's not a choice. They're just, they have been programmed in us. That's why later you're like, what? Who was that? That wasn't me. So let's continue. Okay, so one of the many powerful benefits of mindfulness is reduced emotional reactivity with anger. So do you know that people secretly enjoy getting angry? Yeah. Anger is a reaction to something that feels unfair or threatening to you, to us, of course. You feel unjustifiably betrayed, powerless, attacked, or taken advantage of. And your anger restores to you a sense of justice, control, dignity, and respect. It happens to all of us. We get into the trance of anger. We find some pleasure in getting mad. It can actually become addictive to getting mad. The trance is caused by the changes of neurochemicals, like norepinephrine. This is like a painkiller. It takes the pain of feeling ignored or feeling abandoned or feeling rejected or disrespected. It takes the pain away. And epinephrine, also known as adrenaline, similar to amphetamines, it gives us a shot of energy. All this feels good. It feels pleasant. That's why, we can become addicted to anger. And also what happens when in the trance of anger, we have less oxytocin in our brain. Oxytocin is also called the love drug or the love hormone. And then what happens is you stop feeling empathy for the other person or compassion or kindness. You stop caring for them because you see them as your enemy. They become your enemy suddenly. This is normal. So stress and anger changes our opinion of others. So children and adults' identity is greatly based on their parents or other family members' opinion about them. Do you remember the Pygmalion effect? What we think or say, or even just thinking about other people, who they are, it influences, their identity, their behavior. And this is very interesting. Did you know this? That the kind of attention we give and receive as children and as adults has different weight. Did you know that only one negative interaction psychologically weighs as much as 5 positive interactions? This is the magic ratio of 5 to 1. So if you're like kind of mean to one person one time, one day, in order to balance that, you have to have 5 positive interactions with that person. It can be a pat on the back, a hug, a nice word, or just, hey, you want some tea? Any nice gesture in order to balance it. But if you don't balance it, it gets accumulation. It's an accumulation, right? So let's talk about your brain and stories. If you only see other people's unwanted behavior or mistakes, they will hear negative stories about themselves. Once you have told your child or other family member that new story about themselves many, many times, it has to be many times, they will start telling it to themselves. If you see what they do well, and you tell them again and again, many times, then you can change their identity and influence on their behavior. Does that make sense? So I'm going to teach you a tool that I use with my people I work with, I call it the party hat. It's a special way to praise people, unique way to praise people. And I like to call it the party hat because when you want to praise someone, you have to throw a party, okay? Put on the party hat and you're going to throw a party. And this is how it works. See, that's the steps, very simple steps. So and this is all based on neurobiology, okay? All of this is based on neurobiology, on science. So one step, the first one is exclamation point. You have to be very enthusiastic, add some hand gestures maybe, and be energized. And you start with maybe like, wow, or just like, that's great, or like, oh my goodness, something short, but it's very, very enthusiastic. And then the second step is action. You state what action is being praised. For example, you have helped me with the dishes just like I asked. It's just the action. And then a loving touch. You do something loving that is nonverbal, like a touch on the shoulder, a high five, rubbing their hair, a hug, a kiss, whatever you do that is comfortable. And then identity. You would say something that says to them who they are. You definitely are so helpful. Okay, if you do this with someone that you wanted to help you more, or you wanted to be more patient, whatever it is that you want, if you do this for like 2-3 weeks, these steps, believe me, this is not my theory, this is neuroscience. It's been proven many times. You can change, you can mold that behavior, you can improve that behavior that you're looking for. But these are very cautions about the party hat are these. Don't say or do anything else. That's it. Keep it simple. The 4 steps, that's it. And then it should be right after the behavior. Bring it up later, won't do anything. So it happens in the morning and then you bring it up during dinner, it's not going to work. It has to be right in the moment. Praise for small increments of behavior. For example, you may want the full hour of homework of a child, but in the beginning, you want to praise small increments, just like 10 minutes of homework. When you praise 10 minutes, they will want to do it more. And then you go to 20 minutes and they will want to do it more because it feels good to do that. It will become subconsciously, they will be attracted to that behavior, to that action. So also don't praise the person. Oops, sorry. Don't say, you are a really good boy because you did this. That can make the child or the adult feel bad. Also, do not convey that your love or happiness depends on the behavior. For example, we love you or we are happy when you do this. No, instead you say we love you or we are happy no matter what you do. It's not codependency. My mood, my happiness, my love for you doesn't change. And also caboosing. Think of a train. The last car of a train is called the caboose. So in praise, in the party hat, the caboose is adding on something that undermines everything. For example, after you do the 4 steps and you go, why can't you always be like that? How come you can't do it like your sister always does? Why do you have to nag you every time to get the behavior? Those cabooses undermine and take away the effects of the praise. So just keep it simple, the 4 steps, and then you're good to go. Okay, I'm going to talk about the party hat and karma. If you understand behavioral psychology, you can understand the mechanics of karma. The concept of karma is quite practical, actually, and just recognizes cause and effect. For example, you jump into a pool, you get wet. That's a consequence. Karma is not punishment, it's just cause and effect. It's not good or bad, it's just cause and effect. So the people who seem to always have good things happen to them and are surrounded by happiness and have a preternatural sense of the art of reinforcements, positive reinforcements, and they have decided to stick exclusively to positives. They focus on the positive of themselves and others. They have good karma. They actually consciously ignore the bad behavior of the bad news. When good things happen to them, they are consciously grateful and they are vocal about them. They say something about it. feeling great on the inside and making sure these behaviors occur more often. So it's karma. The more positive you are, the more positivity you will attract from others, because if you're positive towards others, especially if you praise certain behaviors, you will get that back. Does it make sense? It's pure logic, right? So, and then party hard yourselves for being here today. So that's the end of my presentation, and I'm here now with my face. Any questions? Any comments? What do you think? Anything that you didn't know that was surprising? Or questions?
Any questions? I'm looking around. Thank you so much for your talk.
Sure, I'll try to keep it under an hour. I was going fast. I could feel I was going fast.
Janis, I saw that you unmuted.
Well, I wanted to ask about how did you come about Dan Harris? He was the newscaster. That was interesting.
Yes.
Did you work with him or?
No, it's just he's well-known personality, well-respected personality, and him talking about meditation and how he has helped him and how he thinks is is going to be part of our future and should be in the part of our future, mindfulness, meditation. And I feel like, like NAMI could use these tools to, for everybody, family members or people with a diagnosis. It's a very, very powerful tool. He told us, that, it's not his opinion, it's just, all the, studies in Harvard or any other places where it changes your brain.
Mhm.
It actually shrinks the amygdala and it helps you, feel more positive. And it improves your, mental health tremendously,
The gray matter he was talking about?
Yes, totally, completely. It's like, for some people, they have, some kind of, for example, depression, and they after 4 months of regular meditation, they go off their meds. I'm not saying people should do that, but it has happened a lot because it changes your brain. It really does. And what most people teach is breathing meditation, body scan meditation, but actually, which is wonderful, and you can still do that, it's really good. But for example, the Buddha taught the most is loving kindness meditation. And loving kindness meditation, it has been proven by science that it does the same to your brain as like the new treatment with the psycho, how do you call the drugs, the MDMA and I kind of think of the word right now. Psychedelics. It does the same like the psychedelics, but without the hallucinations and without the risk of psychosis or chronic, consequences. With loving kindness meditation, if you do a full retreat of like 9 days, it has the same effects in the brain. It's incredible. It really is. And it's safe because you're not taking any drugs and there are no side effects and no hallucinations, no risk of developing anything, damaging your brain at all. So yeah, that was did
Patricia.
I answer your question?
Yeah.
Thank you.
I used to give therapy to children that were physically or sexually abused. And the new techniques, the new interventions had a lot of mindfulness in it.
Oh, wow.
And I'm also a Buddhist. And so when I had to deal with cancer treatment and I went through chemotherapy and radiation, I stayed in the present. And it was, as Dan Harris said, suffering is optional. And because I stayed in the present, it made the load much lighter. And as a consequence of the chemotherapy, I could not remember my dreams. For several years, more than 10 years, I could not remember my dreams. I went on a retreat where during the pandemic, where we meditated for several hours a day. And then the following week, I remember my first dream.
Wow.
It was so the changes that he's talking about are real. I was crying when I remember my first dream. And the more I meditated, the more I remembered. So yeah, it's all true.
Wow,
Beautiful.
that's beautiful. Yeah, you stay in the present. You don't give your mind the chance to worry about the past or worry about the future or resentments or remorse, because that's suffering. All those thoughts are suffering. You're suffering when you're, feeling remorse or resentment or worry about the future. You have to plan for that with the future and things like that and learn from the past, but not just letting the mind do whatever it wants all the time, right? Because it makes us suffer. Yeah.
I see in the chat, Cynthia asked, do you have a suggestion on how to start meditating?
Okay. Let me see. I cannot see the questions here. I'm trying to go to the chat. I don't see them. Anyway, well, I recommend using guided meditations to start with. For example, UCLA has free meditations every day, live, in group, 9 in the morning sometimes, like noon sometimes. So you can do those live with them. You also can download an app to do that. Also, you can attend retreats. Actually, you can do in-person retreats and you can do online retreats with a mentor that they follow up with you and they have these instructions to do and they guided meditations every day. You can do that. And it's every day and it's, you meditate longer and longer every day. I can, if people are interested, I can send you later information on where to get these online retreats, which are very inexpensive or sometimes free. And then you get, like I said, guidance from a mentor and amazing. And also, I was going to say something about this. Yeah, once you get used to it, if you miss one day, you feel it, you miss it. And especially loving kindness meditation, my main meditation is loving kindness meditation. That's what I do. And in Buddhism, when you meditate, they call it different levels of enlightenment, if you want to say it that way. And it takes, if you do like other kinds of meditations, that is not loving kindness meditation, it takes longer to reach those different, they call jhanas, the levels are called jhanas. It takes longer to get to the top jhanas, but with loving kindness meditation, you get there so much faster. So that's the one I recommend the most, really. And that's it.
Anna,
Yeah.
I took that retreat when I started to remember my dreams in UCLA.
Yes.
So if you want, I can put the link in the chat.
Okay. Yeah. Thank you.
Thank
Sure.
you so much for sharing that resource. Any other questions? Check in the chat. Let me see.
I like the idea of tracking what gets my attention, making a note of the journey my thoughts, self-talk takes. Yes, and just observe with kindness. Be kind to your mind. Your mind is just does what it does, whatever it does. Who knows why it's doing what it's doing? You just observe and even laugh at yourself. Laugh with yourself. Like, oh my God, I just had this kind of crazy thought. That's hysterical. You can even laugh with it, to keep it light too, it's great to do it that way too.
Absolutely. One of our principles of support in our support groups is humor is healthy. So I know a lot of us use that one.
Yeah.
I'm seeing in the chat a question from Janis.
Yes.
It's actually a question for Patricia, which are, what were the points about suffering you discussed that helped you?
You want me to answer? I started to type the the answer.
Oh, yeah, tell us here.
Oh, well, in Buddhism, I learned that suffering is optional. So as I was saying, I stayed in the present. I stayed each day with every side effect that came and went. I did not judge it. I did not complain. I just stayed with it.
Observe it.
Without labeling it, without labels, just staying in the present. And that made it quite a big difference. A friend of mine is going through chemotherapy right now, and I see her resisting and suffer, and I see her suffering double, trying to help her. She's a bit stubborn. But anyway, that's what personally helped me. Yeah, bad things are going to happen, but this the way you deal with it, the response is what can make a big difference.
If you don't fight it, you
You
just
surrender.
observe it.
You surrender to it and you stay in the present.
Thank you so much for sharing.
Suffering is optional. I thought that's so true.
Yeah, but pain is unavoidable. Pain is unavoidable, but suffering is optional. Because you're gonna have pain. You have a body that feels pain. But if you look at the pain, it's just pain. It's just sensations. It's all they are. And they change actually. When you feel like a pain, you realize they're kind of come and go in waves,
Mm.
and they actually, kind of like twinkly too. And if you service the pain can feel warm or cold, and how it moves, how it changes, also helps with the pain actually is reduced by observing it with curiosity too.
Thank you.
Yeah, of course.
I'm
I raise their
Merlot.
hand. Merlot.
Yeah.
I kind of wanted to add to that, like today, with NAMI and the silence, I was giving a talk to a bunch of middle schoolers, and I was saying how pain can be so difficult, but you can turn that pain into power. And I felt like that was something that was really the kids received it well. I mean, I could walk around with all the stuff that's going on in my life and be upset all the time, or I can initially trick myself into thinking I'm happy, and over time, I feel like that will develop. If that's not the case, I feel like it's normal to have bad days and you're going to suffer throughout your life, but not letting that be the definition of who you are is something I've realized is really important.
Wow, thank you. That's very wise of you.
Merlot, shout out. Thank you. Thanks for joining. Merlot is one of our awesome
Yeah,
interns
and
and Random
also,
Islands presenters.
I just want to say he turned 93 October 3rd. And I always say 90% of worrying, I'm pretty positive. It goes the right way. My father says 98% of worrying, it goes the right way. So, but still triggers happen. And then you repeat the same worry and anxious, like if you're late at the airport or something. And my mother was always nervous. And then it's generational trauma. You're nervous because you watched your parents, but I try to break that and I'm doing much better. Just my husband helps, just being on time, leaving really early. Not that I want to, but I get there without rushing and I'm on time and I could just relax and not feel that angst because that really rips us apart.
but you know something interesting? If you miss the flight, you get to the airport and it's late and you miss it. What we're really afraid of really is not the losing of the flight itself, is our self-talk. Like, look at me, I'm such a disaster. I should have known better. We are afraid of our self-critic. Or if you're gonna be late, let's say for to a party or your child's school, you're afraid of people gonna look at you, judging you, maybe with dirty looks, but you're afraid of your the fear they're going to feel in your body in the moment when they're looking at you, and you feel like that, tension because they're looking at you, judging you. You're afraid of that scary sensation in your body. You're afraid of the fear. But if you're not afraid of the fear, you're not afraid of the sensations, because sensations are only sensations. That's all they are. The fear doesn't exist. It's just a bunch of sensations. That's what it is, fear, right? It's a bunch of sensations, like a tension in the body, or like tingling in your, somewhere, and you don't die from, fear, like, tension in the body. And actually, if you observe them, you realize, oh, they're just harmless. The sensations are harmless. They really are. Yes, it makes sense?
Thank you.
Yeah. Mhm.
Yeah, Merlot.
Sorry for talking twice in a row, but I wanted to add something. I feel like personally, I struggle with panic attacks, and I think like a lot of the time I'm scared of like what is supposed to happen or what happened, or like I'm just worrying a lot. But now that you say that, you're right. Like it's the body sensations. When I get like panic attacks, and like I literally can't breathe, like I'm dying. And like obviously I'm not, but like I think that's really what I feel like, or I feel like I'm just off, or something just feels different. It's more of the fact that I'm scared of what I'm feeling than like the thoughts, because the thoughts can be erased and put back and reformed and like adjusted, but the feelings can't be changed I mean, not feelings, the sensations cannot be changed in the moment. So the more I reject how I'm feeling, the worse I feel. So like kind of like giving the space to my body to be like, okay, you want to cry, cry. You want to be upset, be upset. Like all of these things I feel like really help us. And this conversation necessarily is not had a lot like in the world. So I feel like it's important to like open that up and talk about this cycle of fear that is not only just words, it's like sensations and feelings.
Yeah, I like that a lot. Yeah, with people with panic attacks or anxiety attacks, it's very important to realize that it's just a bunch of cells, bunch of muscles getting tight. Bunch of muscles getting tight. Really, that's all it is. Nothing else. It's simple. And yeah, if you feel like you cannot breathe, that's part of it. But you're gonna be able to breathe.
Do you think we have time that, Anna, you could maybe do a little meditation with us for a couple minutes before we close, and just help give us tools? Because you seem so trained from, you were at all these loving kindness meditation retreat. I mean, so you probably learned some tricks or something to hold your heart, hold your stomach,
Okay.
something. Maybe Elizabeth, we have time.
Yeah, do we,
Hold
Anna, how
on.
does that sound to you?
Sounds good, but how much time do I have?
Yeah, how about we take it to 8:15, and I love the idea of closing that out.
8:15,
We'll,
so 3 minutes.
yeah, or longer. I just like I don't want anyone to, if they have places to be, I'm fine staying on. But
Okay.
I also just quickly want to drop in the chat a program that's happening tomorrow evening. And so I just wanted to drop it in the chat. It's called
Okay.
NAMI Smarts. It's an advocacy training. So in case
Okay.
y'all are looking for another mental health space tomorrow night. And I'm personally looking forward to this meditation. Great idea, Janice.
Okay. We know I'm gonna do I mean, it's very, very short what you're asking me to do.
You can go. I'm not actually sure how long a love and kindness meditation is. So
No, I mean,
what would be an
you can
ideal like?
do 3 hours if you want, but
Okay.
I don't think 3 minutes will be enough.
Oh, how long would you like? I'm
I
available.
don't know how much, how long people want to stay. It can be 5 minutes, 10 minutes, 15 minutes. I don't know. It can be a short one. It can be 10 minutes, maybe. I don't know. What do you think, Janice?
I think it'll help us
Yeah.
before we close for you to give us your tools that you learned, and help everybody on YouTube
Okay.
who's upon us.
Okay.
But I think it would be in addition to
Okay.
this. It's a gift that you've learned and you can help
Okay.
all of us.
Okay. Yeah. I'll do a loving kindness meditation. Like forgiveness meditation is even more powerful, but that's more, it's longer. I have to explain many things, but so let's do just a simple, very, very simple, short loving kindness meditation. So we just gonna relax the body, close our eyes. You can take a deep breath, release very slowly. And now just bring up a smile in your lips, a small one, even if you don't feel like it, just a small one. Smile with your heart, smile with your eyes, and smile with your mind. Now remember a time when you were happy. Maybe you were petting a dog. Maybe you had a baby in your arms and you were looking at the baby's eyes. And you felt this warm feeling in the center of your chest. It's like a feeling of kindness, of love, pure kindness and pure love. And it feels so good and so warm. You feel so happy. And now imagine yourself in front of you and say to yourself, may I be happy. May I be free from suffering. May I have love, warmth, and affection. May I have peace. And now maybe you can bring yourself to your arms, like as if you're like a baby, and look at yourself in your eyes. And say again, may I be happy. May I be peaceful. May I have love, warmth, and affection. May I be healthy. May I be free from suffering. And maybe you want to bring yourself to your heart, to hold yourself inside your heart and feel that loving kindness feeling towards yourself. You're in this bubble of loving kindness. And I imagine someone that you really like, someone that you don't know very well, but there's someone you admire, like a spiritual leader, or someone like a teacher, or somebody that you admire a lot and that you like a lot. Imagine them in front of you and wish them happiness, saying to them, may you be happy, may you be peaceful, may you have love, warmth, and affection. And then bring them to your heart also, and hold them in your heart. And be together with this person in a bubble of loving kindness. And now think of a family member, and you've seen them and you wish them happiness. May you be happy. May you be peaceful. May you have love, warmth, and affection. Now bring up someone that you don't know very well, someone from like a grocery store or from your favorite coffee shop, and you're going to wish them happiness too. Think of them and say, may you be happy. May you be peaceful. May you have love, warmth, and affection. Now think of every single person on earth, the north, the south, east, and west of you, every single human being on earth. We're going to send them happiness. May all of you be happy. May all of you be peaceful. May all of you have love, warmth, and affection. And see everybody on earth happy, smiling, peaceful. And now think of all the creatures on earth, all the animals, all of them, and wish them happiness too. May you be happy. May you be peaceful. May you be healthy. And feel yourself like floating in this ocean of love, of loving kindness. You're floating on this ocean of loving kindness. And you have actually become love. You have become love. You want everyone to be happy. You want everyone to be peaceful. You want everyone to be smiling. You want everyone to have love, warmth, and affection. You are love. Okay, that's it. It wasn't too long, short.
That was amazing. Thank you so much.
You're welcome.
That was a lovely way to close out. And thank you so much for joining us tonight, Anna. And
That
thank
was
you,
very
Janis.
your voice is very calming. Thank you.
Oh, you're welcome. Thank you for saying that.
It was great.
Yeah.
Even my daughter's dog is snoring over here. He liked it. She's a therapist, so he's 8 hours with her, and I'm watching him this week. And I think he feels comfortable, like me here. He's here. But you put him to
That's
sleep.
lovely.
Welcome.
Beautiful meditation. Thank you.
Thank
You're
you.
welcome. You're welcome. Yes.
Thank you, Elizabeth, for guiding us tonight with Anna.
Oh, no. That's all, Anna. Thank you. I hope
Sure.
everyone has a lovely evening. And yeah, I know I'm feeling a lot more relaxed and at peace. So, all
Did
right.
you feel it? I felt it in my heart. Did you feel it? What did other people feel?
I felt some of the tension leave. I didn't realize my shoulders were so tense. And so I feel like that kind of let go a little bit.
Yeah.
Wow.
If you do it longer, you're like, you live out of this floating, beautiful.
Wow.
So yes, I appreciate you, allowing me to be here with you. And it was an honor for me. Thank you.
All
Thank you,
right.
Anna.
Thank you so much. And thank you everyone for joining. Have a good evening.
Thank you.
Bye.
Thank you.
Bye.
Bye.